Brothers and sisters, I know that many of you are going through struggles that feel impossible to overcome. Your hearts may be heavy and your spirits worn thin. But I am here today to remind you that the very struggles you face might be the preparation you need for the breakthrough you've been praying for. God does not abandon us in our suffering. Instead, He uses it to refine us, to strengthen us, and to prepare us for the incredible victory that lies ahead. Let us dive into the truth of why suffering is part of the journey toward your breakthrough. My friends, life is not without its challenges. Many of you... Some of you may be standing at the edge of despair, asking, "Why, God? Why am I going through this?" But today, I want to tell you that there is purpose in your pain, and there is a reason why God allows us to go through suffering before we experience the breakthrough we long for. Have you ever felt like you're walking through a storm that just won't end? Have you ever cried out to God in your pain, wondering why He doesn't just end your suffering and give you the breakthrough you've been praying for? I want to tell you today that suffering is not meaningless, and the very pain you're experiencing is part of a divine process. You see, there's a purpose in your suffering that will lead you to the breakthrough you seek. Imagine for a moment that you're a piece of rough, uncut stone. It's heavy, jagged, and full of flaws. It might seem like there's no hope for it to ever become something beautiful. But a master sculptor sees beyond the roughness and begins chiseling away at it, removing the unnecessary parts, refining it into something that can shine. That's what God does in our lives through suffering. He doesn't want us to stay in our current state, burdened and flawed. He wants to refine us, to shape us into something greater. But here's the catch. It's not always comfortable. Just as the stone feels the pain of the sculptor's tools, we feel the weight of trials and suffering. You might ask, why not just fix it, God? Why the pain? But God's ways are higher than ours, and His process of refinement is something only He understands fully. He doesn't waste our pain. In fact, He uses it as a tool to strengthen us, to build our character, and to prepare us for the future He has for us. Think about it. When life is easy, we often don't grow. When we're comfortable, we tend to stay where we are. But it's in the moments of trial, of hardship, that we are forced to dig deep. We have to reach inside ourselves and tap into a strength we didn't know we had. We learn to trust. We learn to rely on God in ways that we would never do if life was always smooth sailing. So when the storm hits, it's not a sign of God's absence. It's a sign of His presence and His plan. As much as it hurts, suffering has the power to transform us. God is using it to mold us into something greater. You may feel lost. You may feel broken. But understand this. God's hand is at work in your life even when you can't see it. The difficult circumstances you're facing are preparing you for something more, something far greater than you could imagine. So, don't rush the process. Don't try to skip ahead to the breakthrough without allowing God to work through your suffering. Trust that He knows exactly what He's doing. Just as a potter carefully shapes and molds the clay, God is carefully shaping your life. He knows what it takes to make you the person you were created to be. Your suffering is not a detour. It's the very path that leads to the breakthrough. If you can embrace the process and trust God in the storm, you will emerge stronger, wiser, and more prepared to handle the breakthrough He has in store for you. Yes, the pain is real, but the breakthrough is coming, and it will be worth every moment of suffering you've endured. Keep your eyes fixed on God. Keep walking through the storm, because the day is coming when the clouds will part and you'll see the beautiful masterpiece God has been creating in you all along. Have you ever felt like you're on the edge of a breakthrough, but the walls just keep closing in? The pressure, the waiting, the uncertainty, it all seems unbearable at times. You're exhausted, and yet the breakthrough you've been praying for still feels far away. But let me ask you, what if this struggle, this waiting, is not just a delay? What if it's God's way of building something in you that will make your breakthrough even more powerful? You see, God is not only concerned with what He's going to do for you, He's deeply invested in who you become during the waiting. In those moments when it feels like you're stuck in the trenches, God is working behind the scenes, developing something in you that will hold the weight of the breakthrough when it finally comes. It's not the miracle itself that will define you, it's the faith you build along the way. Think about this. Have you ever tried to lift something too heavy for you? Maybe it's a weight you know you're not strong enough to carry, yet through persistence you keep trying. Eventually, over time, you start gaining strength. The more you lift, the stronger you get. The waiting, the struggle, the resistance, all of it builds your capacity. Your breakthrough, when it finally arrives, will require strength, wisdom, and endurance. If you weren't shaped by the waiting, you might not be able to handle the blessing God wants to pour into your life. Endurance isn't built in an instant. It's forged in the fire of patience, perseverance, and trust. You see, every time you face a challenge and you refuse to give up, every time you choose to trust, when everything seems uncertain, your faith muscles grow stronger. The more you press forward, the more endurance you develop. And the more endurance you have, the greater your ability to stand firm when the breakthrough finally arrives. It's easy to quit when things aren't going our way. It's tempting to walk away when God's timing doesn't match our own. But think about this: in the waiting, God is building something in you that will last. He's not just preparing the breakthrough, He's preparing you for the breakthrough. When you endure the storm and continue to trust, you're not only growing your faith, but also your capacity to receive what God has in store for you. You might be wondering, why do I need all this endurance? Why can't I just get my breakthrough now? Well, think about this. A small cup can only hold so much, but a large container has a much greater capacity to hold something big. If God were to pour His blessings into you right now, would you be able to carry them? Would you have the strength to manage the responsibility, the wisdom to handle the success, the heart to serve others with it? God's delay is not denial. It's a preparation for something greater than you can imagine. So, while you're waiting, while you're struggling, don't lose heart. God is with you in the waiting, and He is strengthening you for the future that He has planned. The endurance you build today will be the foundation of the breakthrough you'll celebrate tomorrow. Keep pressing on. Keep trusting your breakthrough is closer than you think. Have you ever felt like you're stuck in the fire, wondering if you'll ever make it out? The heat, the pressure, The relentless trials, they seem to have no end. But what if I told you that the fire you're walking through isn't meant to destroy you, but to refine you? Imagine for a moment that you're a piece of raw, unrefined gold. You may look valuable, but you're full of impurities that need to be removed before you can truly shine. This process, though painful, is what God uses to refine you into something pure and priceless. The process of refinement isn't easy. Just like gold, which can only be purified by being placed into a furnace, you and I must sometimes endure the heat of life's trials. But here's the key. It's in the fire that the impurities are burned away. The pain you're facing today? It's part of your spiritual transformation. God allows these struggles because He knows that in the end, they will strip away everything that holds you back from becoming who He created you to be. When gold is placed in the fire, it doesn't burn. Instead, the heat causes the impurities to rise to the surface, where they can be removed. Similarly, when we go through trials, the parts of us that are selfish, prideful, or weak are exposed. And while it's uncomfortable to see our flaws laid bare, it's through this process that we are made better. We can't grow if we're unwilling to face the uncomfortable truths about ourselves. And often, it's only in the fire of suffering that we're willing to confront those truths. It's easy to look at your trials and think, why is this happening to me? But I want to remind you today that God doesn't waste your pain. Every struggle you face is an opportunity for growth. Every moment of suffering is preparing you for the future He has in store for you. You might not understand it now, but God is shaping your character in ways that only hardship can. The pain you feel today is creating something beautiful in you. And let's be honest, it's hard to appreciate the process when you're in the middle of it. When you're hurting, it's hard to see how any good can come from it. But think about this. If God didn't allow you to go through the fire, you'd never be able to carry the blessings He has prepared for you. If He didn't refine you, you wouldn't be able to handle the success, the influence, the responsibility that will come with your breakthrough. Sometimes the refining process is uncomfortable, but it's necessary for you to step into the fullness of what God has in store for you. So, don't despair when life gets hard. Don't run from the fire. Instead, trust that God is with you in the midst of it, and He is using the flames to mold you, purify you, and prepare you for the future He has planned. When the fire has done its work, you will come out stronger, purer, and ready for the breakthrough that awaits you. You won't just survive the flames. You will emerge as something more precious than you were before. Keep trusting, keep enduring, and remember that the heat you feel today is only making you more valuable tomorrow. Have you ever stood on the edge of a dream, only to realize that it feels farther away the closer you get? The breakthrough you've been praying for feels like it's just out of reach no matter how hard you try. The struggles seem endless, and the waiting becomes unbearable. But here's something I want you to understand. And that process, though difficult and frustrating, is exactly what you need to prepare for what's coming next. Let's face it, the world tells us we want instant result. We want everything now: success, happiness, fulfillment. But God's way is different. He's not interested in giving us what we want right away. He's interested in making us ready for what's to come. That breakthrough you're waiting for, it's not just about receiving something. It's about becoming the person who can handle that breakthrough when it arrives. Think about the story of a seed. When a seed is planted in the soil, it doesn't sprout into a tree overnight. It's buried in darkness, surrounded by dirt, struggling to break through. The seed may feel stuck, but inside it's growing, pushing its way through the soil toward the light. That process takes time. It requires patience, persistence, and the right conditions. But without that time, that struggle, the seed would never grow into the tree it's meant to become. Your breakthrough is no different. It's a process that takes time to unfold. We often want to skip ahead to the moment when we're holding the fruit of our labor. But what we don't see is the journey we must go through to make that breakthrough sustainable. The pain, the lessons, the hard work, it's all part of what prepares you for the blessings God has in store for you. You can't skip the process because if you do, you may not be able to handle what comes next. God knows this. He understands that the breakthrough you desire will only be truly meaningful if you've been prepared to carry it with grace, wisdom, and strength. I know it's hard to wait. I know it feels like the promises of God are delayed. But trust me, the delays aren't denials. God is building something in you during the waiting, something that will make you stronger, wiser, and more capable of handling your future. Every trial you face, every challenge that seems to slow you down, is actually building the foundation for the success that lies ahead. The waiting is refining you, shaping you, and preparing your heart to not only receive your breakthrough, but to steward it well. So, if you're feeling stuck, if you're growing weary in the waiting, don't give up. Trust the process. God is working behind the scenes, doing something in you that you can't see right now, but will become clear in time. Your breakthrough is coming, and when it does, you'll be ready to step into it with the strength and character that only the journey could have built in you. Keep pressing forward, keep trusting in God's timing, and know that every step of the process is one step closer to the breakthrough you've been waiting for. Have you ever been in the middle of a storm and felt like you couldn't go any further? Maybe you've wondered if the battle you're fighting is worth it. You face setback after setback, and it feels like the light at the end of the tunnel is always just out of reach. But I want to remind you of something today. Victory doesn't come without a battle. In fact, it's only after the hardest struggles that the sweetest victories are won. If you are in the middle of a battle right now, don't lose heart. What you're going through today is preparing you for the victory that will come tomorrow. The Bible tells us that weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. If you're in a dark season, remember this: the night doesn't last forever. There is a dawn coming, a new day when the pain, the struggle, and the tears will give way to joy, peace, and breakthrough. The victory you're waiting for isn't just a matter of time, it's a matter of endurance. The strength you're building now, in the middle of your battle, is what will carry you into your victory. Here's the reality: every victory has a price. Every breakthrough comes after a struggle. But what makes victory so sweet is not just the moment when it arrives, but the journey that got you there. Think of any great story, whether in the Bible, history, or your own life. The heroes, the victors, The ones who've achieved the most, they all had to fight battles. They had to endure hardships. They didn't give up when things got hard. And it's that very perseverance that made their victory so powerful. When you're in the middle of a battle, it's easy to feel like giving up. It's easy to throw in the towel when the struggle seems endless. But don't you dare quit. Remember, every battle is preparing you for something greater. You are not fighting in vain. Your struggle has meaning. Your pain is not without purpose. God is using this season to strengthen you, to build your faith, and to prepare you for the victory that is coming. And when that victory arrives, you will know that you fought for it. You will know that the struggle was worth it. Victory is sweeter after the battle because you realize how far you've come. You've fought through the doubts, the fears, and the hardships. You held on when everything seemed to be falling apart. And when you finally experience that breakthrough, you will appreciate it in a way that someone who hasn't walked through the battle can't. You will know, without a doubt, that it was God who carried you through, and it was your perseverance that made the victory possible.